Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with David Feinman, where he tells us the key to making a successful company video, in addition to how you know when it's time to raise your company's rates. Don't go anywhere. Part 2 is just around the corner.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performance Podcast
with your host, Thor Conklin.
Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm a professional speaker, and anytime I talk on stage, I never give speeches. I don't give keynote speeches. What I do is I have conversations with people. And in front of the camera, I always picture someone, who I'm trying to deliver the message to, and see them as a little teeny person in the lens camera. Or in the actual camera, and I'm speaking to them. I'm having a conversation with them, and for me, that really helped. Versus, take one, and it's like, okay, you're on, and it just doesn't feel natural or come off. It comes off different, I guess.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So I always picture who I'm talking to. I always individual that I want to deliver that specific message to. That's my tip. Next, source of the location of the filming. Obviously very important. What do you need to pay attention to there? So
within a location, the first thing that we look at is does it actually fit within the vibe of what you're creating, right? Before we get into any technicalities, that's the first thing, right? Is it an office complex that shows off who you really are, right? Let's say you're a high tech company. Do you want to be in a maybe a lower tier office? Or do you want to make sure you're in a higher tier office? Do you if you need to get a shot, overlooking the city, how do you want to do that, and why do you want to do that? So, for us, one of the missions of Viral Ideas, it's create to inspire. It's the whole message of sharing the why behind why a company does something, instead of just showing what they do. And it's something that anyone could take that individual message, and it's something that we do really, really well, but take that message and actually share it with how you create video. So when you're looking at location, you just have to ask yourself over and over again, why are we doing this? Why do we have this background? Why do we have this picture back here? Because those little subtle details, if you look at one of my favorite videos actually with subtle details is the Dollar Shave Club video. And if you actually watch that video 6 or 7 times, you're going to start to notice very subtle details in the background that make a huge difference in the actual quality of the video and the reason it popped. And that could be said for any video that's done well. It's in the details.
So what's showing up in the background there?
You see warehouse. You see a bunch of hilarious characters. You see just a certain raw rustic sense of humor. Yeah. That's kind of deadpan, and it all flows throughout the whole video. Different various props. What the guys are wearing. All those little details are thought about in pre-production, not thought about the day of. It's not like, oh, let's go buy this, giant cup that says #1 dad on it, right, and put that in the background. That's not thought through that day, and you don't run to Walmart and go do that. You do that, in the weeks leading up to it.
Planning. Same thing my team keeps saying. I guess my team's right. I got to keep them around. They'll be very happy when they do the editing on this. They're like, see, Thor, I told you, it's just not us. You know what also I find, too, with the location and the props and everything is it really turns me off when, someone's filming, let's say, in a car, and they make it very noticeable that the car that they're driving is a Ferrari, or, the watch on their wrist is a Rolex or something. It's like if it first of all, I could pick it out just by the door, the side of the door. It's when you overtly try to say, "Hey, look at us." I think it kind of backfires. What's your thoughts on that?
It's funny. I'll actually debate the opposite end of that.
Okay, good.
It depends on your brand. So we actually work with a luxury lifestyle brand, And we do have the mansions, the jets, and the nice cars because it fits the brand.
Right.
But if you're trying, and that brand is that, and they own that, right? But on the flip side of that, if you are not that, and you're renting a Rolex and you're renting a car, which is all possible in the film world, like you can rent, it's crazy what you can rent for a day of a shoot, and you're renting the mansion and you're renting the pools and all that. I think that comes off as disingenuous, unless you're trying to do something with it. Like I mean, you could argue either point. I mean, it's attractive. So parts of it are sexy, but on the flip side, parts of it are disingenuous.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, everybody has their lane. It just when I see some sort of ad on Facebook or wherever, YouTube, and it shows up, and here's a business coach or internet marketing guy, and it's like, hey, here's my pay attention to the girls in the bikinis and the 5 cars in the mansion back there. I don't know. It just, to me, it reminds me of one of the old infomercials where I think it was like Tommy Vu that was selling real estate courses online. He had a boat and all these women clad in bikinis. It's like, be like me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it just pisses me off.
Well, no. To me, I think you're right. I think a lot of times people are when you're doing that, you're playing on an insecurity, right? You're playing on, like I have this, you don't, you want this, buy my course. Yeah. And does it work? I'm sure it works.
Of course. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. People keep doing it. So does it work? Yeah, of course. People are always going to be attracted to stuff they can't have. So it's basic psychology.
Yeah.
But is it the right thing to do? I mean, depends on how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah. We could debate that for hours. It's just one of my pet peeves. When you have something of quality, show it in a quality manner. But anyway, we'll keep rolling with this. Now we're at the point where we've collected this massive amount of film. Now it's down to production. What are some of the mistakes that you see in the marketplace in the production phase?
In the production or post-production?
Is there a difference?
Yeah. So
okay. Well, tell us the difference.
So production is actually the phase where you're shooting, you're collecting all the footage, right? You're putting together the video. Post production is where you're taking all that and you're editing it down. So the first mistake that I see people make is thinking that it's just more of a mindset than anything else, thinking that it's quick or easy to make an edit of something, and to actually do a proper edit. There's a lot of different elements. The first one, is to actually get your visuals right? To make sure the visuals are flowing and to make sure the story is built out. The second, and I think the most overlooked part, is actually the sound engineering, right? It's one thing to just get the voices in there, but if you listen to any movie and you watch any movie, it's not so much about the visuals or what they're saying. It's about the suspense build up using audio engineering that actually makes a huge difference in a video. And one of the big differences that I see with we're more of a high end video production company versus some of the lower ends or freelancers is the quality in sound engineering that we deliver or a high end provider would deliver, because that end of quality can build suspense within it without even saying anything, with just adding in music or adding in certain subtleties that allow suspense to be built, or the right music that fits the vibe of the actual video.
What happens? You get to the end, you've created the product, and your clients are like, nope, not what I had in mind. How do you deal with that?
So the way we deal with it is we always ask them why they don't like it, right? And a lot of times when we'll push back a little bit and we'll say, do you not like this because you don't like the way your hair looked, or do you not like this because of a real marketing reason? And I would say 60% of the time it's because Mary from sales wasn't included in the video and she feels a certain way and she's in someone's ear about it, and there's some sort of politic happening, especially in the corporate world of video production. Yeah, that happens a lot, and we'll be like, well, I know Mary's feelings were hurt, but did that have an impact on the end marketing product of this video? And was Mary necessary for this video, other than the fact that her ego was bruised? And the reality of it is, a lot of times that's the case. And we've done now at this point close to 500 videos over the past 2.5 years of being in business. We know what works. We know what doesn't. We've been on the back end of a lot of marketing campaigns. So, a lot of times when clients will make an edit request, we will push back because a lot of times we kind of know what's right. But at the end of the day, if they want something edited, it's their video, so we'll edit it. But my empowering speech just went to waste when I said that.
Hey, bring us back to the early days. What are some of the screw ups you had?
Oh God, there's so many.
Well, that's why we have plenty of time left.
I would say kind of one of the things that I said, even advising the clients, is not preparing and not doing enough pre-planning. Was one of our biggest mistakes. Undercharging actually is a big thing that I see in the industry. But by no means that I don't want to knock any provider that's doing something at an affordable price, and I believe we're very affordable at Viral. But I for example, I'll go to. I was talking about how I skydove this weekend. I don't want to go to a low cost skydiving provider.
Right.
I want to go to a reasonably priced quality skydiving provider. I don't want to go to, if I'm having an operation, I don't want to go to a low cost doctor. Right. I'm not saying making a video is life or death. That's a little silly, but I am saying that you do pay for what you get, and you want I'm not saying that something that's exorbitantly expensive is going to be that much better, but there are certain things that someone that charges a lot more knows that someone that's maybe inexperienced. And in the beginning, we didn't know as much as we do now, so we charge less, right? So we would charge way less than what we should have for a video, and a lot of times when that happens, the video company is either cutting corners or they're not doing things in the proper way. So make sure you be on the lookout. If someone quotes you a lot, ask them a little bit more about their process. They might not just be trying to rip you off. They actually might be onto something that could be incredibly valuable for your business in the long run.
Yeah, and I think that always changes as well as the business matures, as you mature, as you get better, as your clientele, as you kind of work your way up the ladder. You've got to constantly be looking at your rates, because if not, you're going to find yourself as the low price provider, and sometimes you'll actually miss out on the deals. When I was doing my 2018 planning just the last couple of days, I looked, and literally where our consulting practice started, we actually raised those rates 50%, because we were at the point where it just didn't make sense, because the clientele that we were attracting were completely different than what it was, even a year ago. So I think you've always got to be looking at that. Look, if Coca-Cola called you tomorrow and he said, hey, our video production starts at $1,800 for a shoot, they're going to be like, I don't know. With them, you could say it starts at $180,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's interested in success. However, only a few are really committed to it. What's the difference? Those that are committed are willing to do whatever it takes in order to get their outcome, in order to get their goals. If you're not getting the results you need and want, chances are it's accountability. Who's holding you accountable? I've got a challenge for you. For 1 month, 30 days, and $95, our team will hold you accountable for what you said you were going to get done in that month to get your goals, get your outcomes done. If at the end of 30 days you don't like the results, or you just didn't like the system, we'll give you your money back. The question is, are you interested or are you committed?
Keep an eye out for part 3 of our interview with David, where he tells us how to make your video go viral, as well as the secret to a successful partnership. See you next time on Peak Performers Podcast.